So in the last few videos, we have been looking at adjectives and basically how they change form depending on if if the noun is masculine or feminine or if it's singular or plural. And we've seen that especially for adjectives that end with O, you have e- each adjective which ends with O has four different forms. So you could have singular masculine, singular feminine, plural masculine, plural feminine. And we have seen that even with adjectives that end with E also transform, or change when you have masculine or feminine or singular and plural. And in terms of singular and plural, the adjectives change by adding an S. Then in the last video, we saw that adjectives that end in a consonant, they only change form if let's verify that it's all right. So they do not change form uh, between masculine to feminine, but they do change form from singular to plural. So if you're changing from singular to plural, you add an es to it. But in terms of masculine or feminine, they stay the same. So for instance, you have la chica popular, el chico popular. The adjective stays the same. But in terms of singular to plural, so if we do el chico popular, los chicos populares. So you can see that once you transform it from singular to plural, the adjective changes. So we add an es to it, and the same thing can be said about feminine, of like transforming from singular to plural. So la chica popular, las chicas populares. All right. So um, and just to recap, so adjectives that end in e change from singular to plural. We know that by adding an s. As adjectives that end in e do not, however, change form from masculine or feminine, so it stays the same. Um, and that can also be said with consonants, that they stay the same. All right, so let's just do a brief recap on this when they change form. So basically, we have seen three different types of adjectives. So adjectives that end with o, adjectives that end with e, and adjectives that end in a consonant. So adjectives that end with o, they change form. From masculine to feminine or singular to plural, they change form, right? But adjectives that end with e and adjectives that end in a consonant, they do not change form means masculine to feminine or vice versa. So they only change form between singular and plural, right? And the difference between the e and consonant is that in singular to plural, for the ones that end with e, you would add an s to it to make it plural. But in for a consonant, you would add an es to it. Okay, so that's what you have seen. El, el chico, la chica, el chico, los chicos altos, you're adding an S. La chica alta, so again adding an S. Alto to alta, feminine, masculine, feminine. Um, altos, altas. Alright, so it looks like we have pretty much, covered this section. Yeah, pretty good. Guess the current. Alright, so I think we are in good position to take the basic quiz. So let's go ahead and do that. First of all, as we do always, let's scan through this section or scan through the quiz to see how long it is and the space of cells. Um, Alright, not too bad. Okay. Alright, so first section. Rojo. Hay una pluma dash encima de la mesa. Okay. Una pluma. So, uh, this is all hints to feminine because pluma, la pluma, it's all feminine. La mesa is also feminine. Um, so, um, and you're talking about one. Um, so instead of rojo, it would be singular. So it not be rojo. It should be uh, and this actually ends with o. And we know for a fact that adjectives that end with o, they change form from masculine to feminine. So it should be roja because it's singular and feminine. Alto. La chica, one girl. So it should be alta. And the reason being is we know it's feminine, that's one thing. And with feminine, we know that we need to add an A. And la is singular, right? So it should, if it was plural, it would have been las. And it would also have been altas, right? It would have been option 4. But because it is singular and it's feminine, we are adding an A, alright? Pequeño. Pequeño thing means things, small little. So hay tres libros pequeños en la bolsa. I think bolsa should be bag. But again, that's not the point here. So we're trying to figure out what should we put in the blanks, in the blank. So tres libros. So notice it's plural because we have three. So it's more than one. It's three libros. So it's plural. Libro is no, so I mean everything surrounding it seems to be masculine. Like libros is masculine. So but en la bolsa is bag is feminine. So three books. All right. So we are trying to. Okay. So let's see here. Books. Book in itself is an object, right? So it's not an adjective. So we're talking about that, right? So libros, three libros. Um, so it should be, so since this is, and it's ending with o, I would think that you should add an s to it to make it plural. So let's go with that, and it's because talking books, that's masculine. So we're going with that logic. Poco. I poco chicos en la clase. Alright, chicos is in the class. Chico, chica, chico. Yeah, okay. Solo un poco. Little. Okay, so chico, chicos, chico, boys, right? Chico, chica would have been girl, but chicos is boys. So it should be masculine and plural, and we know poco, so it should be pocos, adding an s. Mucho. I dash or blank chicas en la clase. So again, okay, this is for girls, right? This is feminine plural. So mucho should be mucha. First you transform to feminine, so it's mucho. So instead of O, you add an A, and then to make it plural, we add an S. So muchas. Hay muchas chicas en la clase. So then we have bonito. I Hoy. Today is one day. So I mean a beautiful day. That's what I'm trying to say. Today is a beautiful day. But hoy es un día. Un día. So it seems to be masculine. Uh, and one is obviously singular. So I think we should keep or stick with the same form here. So bonito. Hoy es un día bonito. Right. Guapo. Él es un hombre. Guapo thing is beautiful. So un hombre, and it seems to be singular and masculine. So I'm going to stick with the same form here. Negro. Negro is black. Ella tiene pelo. Okay. All right. So I was just trying to think here. So yeah. So from previous sections, él is he. I mean, él and ella. Él and ella, right? He, she. So this seems to be, if memory serves me right. So I think it should be feminine. I think ella means she. Uh, so we should, and you're talking about singular here, right? So it should be negra. All right. So Rubio. Él tiene, he has. All right. So I would stick with Rubio, singular and masculine. Él, he. Simpático. Uh, muchas personas dash viven en Latinoamérica. America. Okay, so personas. All right, viven. Okay, uh, viven. Vivo. So I'm thinking about. So like vivo means to live, right? Vivo, vive. So I mean, vivo. I mean, it's obviously a verb. So okay, this is a little tricky. Um, okay, so think we need to think about. Alright, so muchas personas vivo, viven, vive, yo vivo, viven, when do we add, so I mean you have AR verbs and ER verbs, right? So I know you could say yo vivo means I live, right? So um, state yeah, in some subject pronouns we add, you know, an e to it, uh, and it seems to be. So cannot be simpatico. Uh, let's see. Simpatica vive. Simpati. First of all, there's a clue. It is plural because you have personas, right? So it is plural. So to break it down or to eliminate, we should know it's either simpaticos or simpaticas. Now we need to think if it's masculine or feminine. Muchas. Muchas in itself is feminine, right? Because we know mucho is masculine. Adding an a becomes mucha, and then plural. So, going by that logic, I'm going with feminine, plural feminine. Okay. So choose the correct translation. Alright, we have 3 more sections. Alright, let's try to move faster. Alright, 6 smart boys, inteligente. Alright, si es inteligente. Alright, so this ends with E, and we know for a fact that not verbs, but adjectives that end with E, they do not change form between genders. They only change form if it is singular to plural, right? The plural to singular. So if that's the case, we should stick with intelligente. But the fact that it's plural, we should add an S. So says muchachos inteligentes. One pleasant girl. Uh, agradable. I mean, it is okay. All right. So let's think about it. So this ends with E, right? So, and we know that adjectives that end with E do not change form. Between genders. So it should stick with the same original form, which is E, right? So it should be this. 8, ocho, smart girls, inteligente. So this would be inteligentes because it's plural. That's the only reason. But you're not adding as because you're not changing from masculine to feminine. Never changes. So we just add an S. One pleasant boy. Okay. Again, ending with E. So we'll stick with the same form since it's singular. And yeah, so it's this. And an enormous house, enorme. So this again seems to be singular. Um, and and we know that gender doesn't really apply here. So choose the correct translation. The popular girl. All right. Popular. Popular. All right. So it's a consonant. So we need to think about um, since the consonant, we know that doesn't really apply to gender, but it applies if it's transformed from singular to plural, but here it is singular, so I think it should be popular. Any other option where it has popular, so it should be this one, la chica popular. That young boy is my cousin, joven. So again, this is a ends with a consonant, and now we need to think about, so you have singular, masculine, but again masculine doesn't apply because it's singular. You're sticking with joven. And this again is consonant, and with the consonant we know that um, genders don't apply, so it only transforms if it's singular plural. So it's a singular, so again it should be joven. These young boys are my nephews. So because it's plural, the only reason is because it's plural boys, we are going to make it jóvenes, because for consonants we need to add an es to make it plural, so it should be this second option. And again, this is plural, is girls, so we are going to do the same thing, not because of the gender doesn't apply. You're only changing it because it's transformed from singular to plural, so we add an es to it. Okay, so alright, so we completed these 3 sections. The last one is write 6 Spanish sentences using an adjective in each one. Alright, let's make an attempt to do that. Okay, so we know pluma means pen, and rojo means red. So let's try to make a few sentences with this, right? A few variations. So pen is feminine, so la pluma, the pen. Um, so this should be roja, right? La pluma roja, because you're transferring from masculine to feminine. And this will be las plumas and rojas. So 2 sentences there. Okay, then we have azul, which is blue. Let's add a color, right? Obviously. So here you can do la pluma azul, and this is a good time to know colors. Let me tell you that. So then this is like las plumas. So because it's because we are the pens, the pen, the blue pen. So so since it's plural, we're making it azules, right? And then let's talk about so here blue, blanco, which means white. So it's another color. So we have la pluma blanca. We're making blanca because it's feminine, and las plumas uh, blancas. Okay. All right. So it looks like we have completed this, and let's try to verify by using Google Translate, shall we? Um, okay, I'm going to paste each one of them. Okay, that's correct. La pluma roja.
La pluma roja. Las plumas rojas.
Okay. Now I'm talking blue.
La pluma azul. Las plumas azules. La pluma blanca.
And the last one.
Las plumas blancas.
So the tip here would be to start small, right? To start with things that you know and try to make different variations, right? So think about it. We only used a pen as an example, and then started mixing it around with, um, between changing it from singular to plural and adding a few colors to it. So yeah, and that's how we form 6 sentences. So let's try to review and see what we got right. Okay, we got 95, we got one incorrect. Let's see what is wrong. Negro. Okay, let's think about this before you look at the answer. Ella tiene pelo. So O is so it is negro. So it's O. It's ends with an O, and it transforms if it's feminine, if, between gender, or it's singular or plural. So ella, I know is she, and we're thinking about let's be singular. So we thought it'd be negra, but it's not. Why is that? So actors agree in gender and number with the nouns they modify. Okay. Ella tiene pelo. Oh, okay, okay, I see this. Pelo. So it should have been negro, right? Let's see. Okay. So I got confused with um Aya, because if you do Aya, let me type in Aya here. It's she. So I was looking at that, but I should have seen what is pelo. Here, hair is masculine. So I should have thought about that. I should have thought about that. So pelo is hair. So um, and it's singular. So it makes sense. Singular masculine, right? So we shouldn't be looking at she or he. And we had ALS un hombre. Hombre we know is singular and masculine. We thought about that. And pelo, this threw me off for a little bit. El tiene pelo. Yeah, Rubio. Okay. So yeah, so not bad. So there's one wrong, and now we know what is the answer for that. Uh, so in the next video, I think we'll take a mini test. So until then, see you next time.